We are absolutely surrounded by data, right? It's the engine behind huge business decisions. It shapes the laws we live by. But have you ever stopped to think about where it all comes from? I mean, really, how it's collected? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the surprisingly human process behind the numbers and meet some of data's unsung heroes.
Come on, be honest. You've totally done it. We all have. We get bombarded with requests for our opinions all day long, and it's just so easy to say, no thanks, or click delete without a second thought. But that one simple click, that's the very beginning of a massive challenge for the entire world of market research. And I mean, the scale of this problem is pretty staggering. Just look at this number. Nearly 2/3 of us actively refuse to take part in surveys. Think about that. That's a giant wall that every single data collector, every field worker slams into before they can even ask their first question. So, what is this field work we're talking about? Well, you can think of it as the engine room of the whole research process. It's where all those carefully planned questions on paper get turned into actual, usable data. The field workers are the folks out there on the front lines, on the phone, at your door, in the mall, and their job is to get that vital information straight from you and me.
Now, this whole process, it isn't random, not at all. It follows a very specific 5-step path. This flowchart you're looking at, it's basically our blueprint for this whole explainer. We're going to walk through this journey together one step at a time, from the top, with how they're selected, through training, supervision, all the way down to how they're evaluated at the very end.
All right, let's dive into part one, selecting the field workers. And you really shouldn't think of this like a normal job interview. It's much more like a casting call for a really specific and pretty demanding role. Seriously, not just anyone can pull this off.
So, what are they looking for in this casting call? Well, it's a really unique mix of skills. You've got to have the stamina for long hours. You need to be outgoing enough to build trust with a total stranger in like 30 seconds. You have to be a great communicator. You need solid reading and writing skills. And this is a big one. You need the experience to know how to dig for better answers without actually influencing them. And here's why getting that casting call right is so critical. There's this constant nagging fear in the industry that interviewers might cheat or fake the data. This quote from an industry veteran, Michael Reddington, just nails it. He's basically saying that even though his own team went looking for cheating and didn't really find it, the perception that it could happen is so strong that you just have to find trustworthy people from the very start. Okay, so you've cast your players. What's next? Training. And let me tell you, this is not your average boring HR orientation. This is an intense boot camp. It's all about making sure every single field worker collects data in the exact same way and giving them the skills to handle whatever comes at them. The training really boils down to these 4 core skills. It all starts with that crucial first moment, making contact. Then it's about asking the questions in precisely the right way. After that comes the real art form, probing for better answers. And finally, the discipline to record everything perfectly. And that first step? It is incredibly structured. This is not some off-the-cuff conversation. Check this out. They use carefully written scripts like this one to introduce themselves and explain what they're doing. See how it's designed to sound legitimate and immediately ask for permission. It's all about respecting the person's time right from the get-go. But here's the thing. Anybody can read a script. The real skill, the thing that separates the pros from the amateurs, is what happens after the question is asked, especially when you get a short or a kind of confusing answer. That's where the craft comes in. This is where we get into the really clever stuff, the art of probing. Trainees learn all these powerful little psychological tools, like the silent probe, which is literally just staying quiet for a few seconds to let the other person fill the space, or using little reassuring phrases, or just asking for clarification. It's all designed to get you, the respondent, to open up more, without putting any words in your mouth. So, the team is selected, they're trained, you'd think they're ready to go. Right? Well, not quite. The process doesn't stop there. Now comes the supervisor's watchful eye. This is the quality control system that's always running in the background, making sure everything is done by the book. And the number one thing those supervisors are on the lookout for? Well, it's that fear we talked about earlier. We have to tackle it head on. The biggest threat to good data is cheating. And let's be super clear about what cheating means here. This is the absolute worst case scenario. It's when an interviewer literally just fakes the data, fills out the survey themselves, makes up answers, you name it. It completely destroys the integrity of the research. It makes it all worthless. So, how do you stop that? Well, supervisors have a whole toolkit. They're checking questionnaires for mistakes or things that look weird. They're making sure the interviewers are actually talking to the right kinds of people. And most importantly, they have a secret weapon to make sure the work was actually done.
It's a system called validation, and honestly, it's kind of brilliant in its simplicity. Supervisors will randomly call back a percentage of the people who were supposedly interviewed, maybe 10 up to 25%, and just ask, hey, did so-and-so actually talk to you the other day? Just knowing that check could happen makes faking an interview an incredibly risky move. It's a simple but powerful system.
Okay, we've gone from the casting call through the boot camp and past the supervisor's watchful eye. So what's the last piece of this puzzle? It's evaluation. It's all about looking back at the performance to see if all that hard work actually produced reliable, trustworthy data. And they're not just looking at one thing. Sure, they look at cost and time, basic efficiency, but they're also looking at response rates. How good is this person at getting people to say yes? That's a huge indicator of skill. Then they dig into the quality of the interviewing itself. And finally, the quality of the data that was recorded. It's a total picture. So when you boil it all down, here's the crucial point. We see statistics every day, and we think of them as these cold, hard facts that just kind of appear. But they don't. Behind every single one of those numbers is a person. There's a complex, human-driven process that was designed from the ground up for one reason and one reason only: to create something we can actually trust. Which brings us right back to where we started. Now that you know about the incredible effort, the training, the quality control, everything that goes into that one moment when someone asks for your opinion, the next time you get that call or that email, what are you going to do?